The business end of the season always delivers drama. What a month of April it has been for the Addicts, and we are far from done just yet. Lots to look back on, lots to look forward to, and I'm delighted to say I'll be doing that in the company of Kevin Lisbie, Stevie Brownie, and the great man himself, which is Sir Alan Curbishley.
All right.
How are we, chaps? All right?
Yeah, can't be far off, Curbs.
It'd be Sir Llewellyn.
Would you demand that? Would you?
Change it to Alan, I think. Isn't it?
Look, how are we? I've got to say, it was a great golf day, the CAT golf day last week, wasn't it? How did you get on? I had to slip off, unfortunately, after the playing of the golf. But how was it for you?
Yeah, it was good. I was a plus 11, so not bad. I haven't cracked that course yet. It keeps beating me up, so
Does it?
plus 11's all right.
Yeah.
Good company though, as always.
Yeah, absolutely. Curbs, you couldn't make it, could you?
Nah. Other engagement. Graham Roberts' golf day, I know.
Okay, so he got in there first.
Yeah. But we all support each other, obviously. And he had his golf day long in the diary before Jason started phoning around. So I couldn't get out of it because they come and support my day. So.
Yeah. How did you play?
All right, yeah, I've done all right. Not plus 11, but I've done all right. Eh?
We did win the week before though, didn't we? Down at Burnham and Barrow.
Yeah, that was a good trip.
That was good. Yeah, we played a nice.
I
course
drove
the
there,
week before.
drove back.
Did you? You drove Brownie?
Brownie just sat.
Honestly. What's going on? You got this the wrong way round.
Didn't even have to do any direction because of the sat nav. He just sat there.
He bought your coffee though, didn't he, or something? You must have, didn't
May have.
Did you?
I think I did at the services, but I had massages and heat and all sorts, Kev. It was unbelievable.
Who did you have in the car?
No, it was a good trip.
Yeah.
Peter Knowles sorted it out.
Yeah.
It was nice.
And Robin Fairford. It was.
I thought
we beat
we-
the members, didn't we? Beat them.
I thought
Over
he
the
was
2
in
days.
Devon, but was in Somerset.
Yeah.
You're not going to say it's all the same.
He's a big Charlton fan, and he
Yeah.
travels from Somerset every other week.
Okay.
Yeah, amazing.
Okay. Liz, why weren't you there at the golf day?
Wasn't invited.
Is that
Wasn't
right?
invited. I was expecting an invite from Stephen, but I didn't get
It
one.
wasn't my golf day. Kev.
Oh, was it not?
Jason Morgan's.
Oh,
day.
okay. Oh, or Jason
Morgan,
Stephen.
MBE.
MBE.
The MB. Yeah, so it's either way, never
I
got an
did put your
invite
name in,
for some reason.
and you still didn't get invited.
Did
So
I? That's
you've
fair
got
enough.
to take that up with the community
You
trust.
can't even get in the ground either. can you?
No, still can't get in the ground. Just happy to be here, you know.
Do you not keep on using that little gif of you scoring that hat-trick goal that I keep on sending you as
Yeah,
well?
but it's black and white, so no one really recognises me. So
Can I just say as well, before we move on, it is absolutely ridiculous trying to arrange a day out with you two and Rob Lee as well, trying to get a golf day. No.
Hold on a sec, Judith.
Yeah. Judith Chalmers over there is either away on holiday or looking after his grandkids.
I've got to look after Fred. He's all left-footed. I'm telling you.
So you're teaching him some skills, are you?
Yeah.
Is that why you're just so difficult to pin down?
No, difficult to pin down, but Rob Lee, as he likes to be called, he's the most difficult one.
Yeah, he is.
He is, to be fair. He's either in Newcastle, Wrexham or Hollywood, isn't he? You know,
he's like...
chasing Blake Lively. I know he's keen
well,
on
he
that.
won't catch her, will he? With that knee. You seen his knee?
Okay, and I've got to just mention as well, Liz, I've been noticing on your Instagram as well, you know, you've been very busy watching your boys as well. You must be a very proud father and how well they're doing.
yeah, it's been a busy bank holiday. Obviously, one's at Colchester, made his home debut after years of trying to become a professional footballer. He's there now, so. And the other one's at Braintree, got 17 goals this season, player this season. So yeah, it's busy bank holiday. Now it's time to just wind down and a bit of Mr. Lisbie time.
Yeah, and enjoy the playoffs as well. Actually, before we move on, just before we came on air, I don't know who has commented that you look like you've lost a bit of weight.
Nah.
Bernie said that about himself.
He said someone wants a photo every time we do this,
Memories, Bernie.
and
I quite
then the
enjoy it.
weight sort of dig came in, and I went, actually, I'm going the other way at the moment. That's all that was said.
About himself.
That's all that was said. Yeah, only to defending myself.
So if it's a weigh-in on a Friday, you can have both feet on the scales and not one. I walked in one day, Keith's doing the weights, and half of them got their one leg on and one leg off.
That would have been one of them would have been me, I think.
Right.
Brilliant. I have to say, the fact that Curb said you're in those new jabs that the NHS are handing out, you're denying that, yeah?
Standard stuff for me, standard stuff. You just got to take it and just smile away and move on.
Because, two's coming back.
Two.
If you give one, two comes back, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
The biggest one was Nelson. No, Nelson was the biggest counter jabber.
Yeah.
Gary Nelson, he was the biggest.
Like Muhammad Ali. Anyway, should we move on? Let's talk about April's talking points, shall we? And first up, we've got to say, obviously, about the men's side finishing fourth. 46 matches, 25 wins, 10 draws, 11 losses, 85 points, and that fourth-placed finish. I mean, Curbs, what a difference a year makes. I suppose what a difference 5 months makes as well. Give us your take on the job that Nathan has done.
Well, let's go back to perhaps letting Alfie May and George Dobson go. That were two big things. Two crowd favourites. I would have thought two really good lads in the dressing room and two players that really produced. But Nathan made the decision, that he wanted to turn it around and he wanted to change it and wanted to bring different players in. And let's be honest, it's worked. So as a manager, you want to be backed by the board, which they did, and it was, I think a lot of people thought, let them two go. But they were big decisions and they've worked out well for him, so well done.
Yeah, it certainly has. And the improvement has been defensively as well, hasn't it? When you think about the goals for column has not changed massively, but we've really shored things up at the back, haven't we?
Yeah. I think sort of it's a shame that we didn't do Charlton TV this year because we had about 4 or 5 years of not getting to a playoff campaign.
No comment.
Yeah, and we would have had a very good time covering them this year. But yeah, I think that was said. The point I was making there was that we did say that on Charlton TV towards the end of the previous season was that Nathan came in the February. We looked a lot more competitive defensively. He strengthened that over the summer. And although you need the right players to play for that to happen, you also need a coaching philosophy, which I think him and Curtis have made us a lot tougher to beat. There's a lot more understanding defensively out of possession of what's required of everybody. And it's led to I think it's 23. You got it down? I think it's 23 clean sheets.
23 clean sheets, yeah.
Yeah, which is astonishing considering we were 5. So it's a hell of a turnaround. And I think we said in the studio that if you can get yourself to a base platform where you need 1 goal to win most games, you give yourself a chance, and that's what we've done this year. It's been a brilliant turnaround. Yeah.
Unfortunately, we haven't been here game by game, Liz, but what's impressed you most about the evolution of this season?
Yeah, I think the manager deserves massive credit because there's been a lot of moments, a lot of months of frustration within the crowd and also the manager and the players, and you feel it when you're at the ground. And there's been so many times when you can feel that frustration and it then transfers onto the pitch. So I think the manager's he's had the time, as Curb said, he's had the backing, he's brought the players that he's wanted, and they've produced. But a lot of the issues that we've sort of addressed that we had last year in terms of pressing and how we approach games at home, I think it's massively differently. We go after teams, we look a threat, and we also look like we're going to keep clean sheets. So it's been a massive turnover, and it's glad to just be here. And as you say, it would have been interesting to have Charlton TV and obviously speaking about these games on a regular basis rather than coming here at the end of the month. But yeah, the manager deserves a lot of credit.
Yeah, I mean, for the last 3 years, pre-matches have always been fun. Yeah. It's been the post-match that has not always been fun. Yeah. But well done to Nathan and his coaches. You're right to mention Curtis and everybody involved as well. And Curbs finishing 4th means we get the advantage of playing home in the second leg. I'll be here actually commenting on the radio, so I'm really looking forward to that one. But do you see it as how much of an advantage is it playing at home in the second leg?
Absolutely, it's a big advantage. I mean, we done it. We went to Ipswich, didn't we? Got a great result there, but then you still got to finish it off. But no, playing away from home in the first leg, and I've looked at the evolution of the side, and yeah, I think perhaps 6 weeks, 2 months ago, we was talking about where's the goals. We knew we could keep clean sheets, but suddenly the goals are coming as well. And it just reminds me a little bit of that side in actual fact, that if Clive nicked us something, then it was going to be difficult for the opposition to beat us. It's a bit like now, if Godden nicks something, you think that's it really, we're going to hold out or we're going to nick another one. And that's the feeling I got. And I drove in here Saturday and it's the first time, I must admit, coming into the ground, it was alive. Yeah, I got in. I'm all right. I'm all right.
Yeah, I'm sure he was okay. Yeah.
But it was alive. There was fans everywhere outside, and it was a bit of a real atmosphere coming in. and not been like that, and I think everyone's really up for it now. And if we can get anything out of the first game at Wickham, then this will be really rocking, I think.
Yeah, and Brownie, the tickets have sold out quickly for both ties. You can see there's a real togetherness now with the club, isn't it? Something that we haven't seen for a good few years.
Yeah, I would agree. There's been moments across the season, and I think I'm going to save one of the moments for later because there's a question coming up, but there's been moments across the season where you've seen team gel with supporters, the supporters get behind the team, Nathan get behind the both, and it's been fascinating at which points they've come, and they've come at important moments as well. And what I would say is, we've sat here at times over the last 4 years, and we've done a protecting job on some. We've been a bit critical other times, but this year it's been genuinely a pleasure to be able to watch the games week in, week out and see a team that's developing and getting stronger and stronger. And there's been moments across that where you can see the belief. And it's all in unison where the crowd get behind the team then respond, the team start playing well and look just more confident, there's more belief. And then that grows, the numbers swell. And when the numbers swell, this is a pretty decent place to be. But I'm the same as you, Curbs. I come in by train every Saturday for the home games, and Platform 4 was as busy as I've ever seen it up at London Bridge. And that, it's starting to click a little bit because there's so many more people.
Brown scarves.
No, that was funny. I mean, they did me. No, that was Terry and Greg, and they did a good job there when I got up to my seat. That was funny. Fair play. And I stole both scarves as well, and Chel's gutted because he had paid for them.
Just on the ticket allocation as well, our away ticket allocation for Wickham has sold out. Tickets are on sale for our screening of the game at the Valley. £10 for adults, £5 for concessions. But we'll give you 100% confirmation on that when we know it. Home tickets have been flying, expected to sell out. It should be a great atmosphere with some fan activations planned. And look, the club are aware that some fans have been having challenges purchasing and apologise for any inconvenience. And supporters with any queries can email tickets@cafc.co.uk. So try and email in there and they will give you full confirmation on that. Okay, that's just the first of the 5 of April's talking points. We're just a little bit behind. There might be some injury time and even extra time coming up. Second up is that the women's team finish in the bronze position, and Karen Hill's side finished their season with a 2-0 win against Southampton on Sunday. It does mean that Charlton finished third behind London City Lionesses and Birmingham. The title race went right down to the wire. And Curbs, look, we've got to say, it's been another solid campaign from Karen and the team, hasn't it?
Yeah, and something they can build on, I think. And, I do think it's terrific that they're playing at the Valley. The pitch can handle it. Look at the pitch out there now. It's fantastic. So, and I think it's a great experience for everybody. And it's only getting bigger. It's only going to get bigger. And I think when you look at the top league and some of the crowds that they've been attracting, if you can get up there, it's going to be all guns blazing, I think. So yeah, I'm really pleased for Karen and the fact that we are beginning to take off in the women's team.
Absolutely, we're pushing, aren't we, for promotion for sure on a regular basis. And Brownie, we heard from Karen on last month's show. The women's game is growing, resources are improving, but to stay competitive and keep pushing is testament to her and her coaching team as well. We just talked about Nathan.
Yeah, absolutely. And it wasn't easy because I think the Lionesses are doing something quite unique this year in terms of I'm not saying there's super funding for them, but they're the only team without a league club attached to it, and that's a different slant taken on. But they had an incredibly good finish to the season. Couldn't have done a lot more, really. There was just that one little patch of defeats that all come in a little spell. But you can't do a lot more than what the women did there at the end of the season. They haven't lost in like 10, 11 games or something, and still couldn't quite penetrate the top 2 positions. But yeah, I mean, I was live on air, listening, and the result was coming in from Birmingham. 2-0 up, the Lionesses cruising 2-2, 10 minutes of added on time, and they managed to just squeeze through. But for us, third, is a progression in terms of, I think, we find it difficult to compete at times with 1 or 2 that come down from the Women's Super League and the Lionesses this year.
Yeah, Liz, the first season playing at the Valley as well for the women's side. Curbs had been banging on until it actually happened as well. I mean, it's good to see both senior sides playing here week in, week out, isn't it? It's a great experience for them.
Yeah, and the pitch should be able to handle they are our women team, so it should be able to cope with the men and women playing. Probably could handle a charity game on there as well, Brownie, couldn't it? The pitch.
As in, could have done it Sunday, couldn't we? It would have been amazing if we could have popped it in there Sunday and had a game for the ex-players. That would have been lovely.
That's another show, I think.
Wow.
But yeah, I mean, I think as Curbs and Brownie said, it's all about building. I think there's enough positivity within the performances this year and the games that we've played, and then you add playing at the Valley with all that into the mix. Yeah, it gives us good hope that next season they can go again and maybe get a little bit closer, if not win it.
Yeah, absolutely. Curbs, have you voted Karen Hills manager of the season?
We ain't got that far yet, but
Not allowed to, are you? Are you allowed to?
yeah. But every time I vote for Karen, I have to put a little thing underneath it saying this is not favouritism.
Put someone else's name on it.
But it is great the job that she's doing, isn't it? And you can see it is progression in terms of, you know, we're playing at the Valley now as well. And as you just mentioned about the Lionesses in Birmingham, obviously Birmingham wanting to try and do well for the men's and the women's side on top of that.
But, you know, if we can get to that top league, then I think you will see a big difference in the attendances. It's that much more attractive, the Man Uniteds and the Man Cities of this world and the Arsenals and the Spurs. So, yeah, you know that you're going to get bigger crowds. A bit like if we creep into the Championship, you know that end's going to be sold out most weeks, so it's going to make a great atmosphere here.
I think it'd be absolute game changer
Yeah.
if and when we do go up. Okay, third up is Charlton's under-17s make history, and the Young Stars made history this month, becoming the first Category 2 side to make it to the under-17s Premier League Cup final. Jason Pearce's young side faced a very strong Spurs outfit, and we secured the victory. Manu Wales starred for the Addicts, his 2 goals making a real game of it as well. And Curbs, the boys beat Man U, Southampton and Arsenal, amongst others, on their journey to the final. Just how good is it that Charlton Athletic's name at that level is up there with the big boys?
Well, yeah, and you know, it's a situation now that obviously even Nathan being in this league, to give the youngsters a game, for them to progress. No, West Ham won the FA Youth Cup last year, didn't they? And not one of them has had a sniff, I don't think, because the managers Lebetecki and now Potter, they're under pressure, and it's very, very difficult to give, even in our league, to give youngsters a chance, and that's the big problem, I think. And let's hope that 1 or 2 of them get right into Nathan's face and end up getting a chance.
Hopefully some of them are keen to go out on loan and go and play some non-league football. And I think after a while you play these sort of football. I know we've often spoke about obviously the under-21s and the 18s and that, but at some point you've got to go out there. You have to go and experience real live men's football with something on it, and obviously the mentality that comes with playing real league football.
Yeah, I think that's very important, but you've got to pitch your players at the right clubs, because we've loaned a couple out this year and they haven't managed to get into the sides that we've loaned them out to, which is catastrophic, really, when you look at it from an individual perspective. But, you know, you don't do that on purpose. You know, the player's got to go there and get into the team, and if you don't, you're not playing here, you're not playing at the club that you've gone to, and that can be a little bit of a setback for the individual. But yeah, I think the loan system, certainly when you're in the 21s here, as great as they do, as great as the 17s have done, it's not men's football, and I do think players need to experience men's football. It's a big jump these days.
Yeah, and just explain briefly the difference between Spurs are Category 1 side, we're Category 2. Explain the difference.
Well, I've got limited knowledge. I haven't worked in academy for 10 years plus, but the biggest thing is the staffing structure. Category 1s have a huge staffing structure. They can bring in an elite, and there's more positions, far more positions in the Category 1. There's also, you can pinch players in Category 1 nationally from 14 years onwards, I think. So for example, Liverpool can pinch an Exeter player at 14 with compensation or a fee, and they offer full educational programs at Cat 1, whereas Cat 2s don't. So I think you have to bring in players from an hour at a certain age. I think it's, let's say 11 and under, it's an hour. 16 and under, it's an hour and a half. Whereas Liverpool can go anywhere in the country, Man United go anywhere in the country. If they find a player, compensatory fee, bang, and your education's at that club. So there are some massive things. It was all geared towards the bigger clubs in the country and getting kids into those bigger clubs quicker and earlier so they can develop what they consider better academies. But our academy punches well above its weight year in, year out. So there are fundamental differences, but you think about we can only have players from within an hour and a half of where we are, and look what we still do. So it's a credit to everybody in our academy.
I thought I put it on you there that you didn't quite know, but you gave a good
Yeah, you
answer.
came back,
Yeah, well done. You did really well.
Don't know if it's all true.
Well, we'll find out.
Well, yeah, it might not be. It might not
If
be.
someone knows, please send us a message.
Is that an hour and a half as a crow flies?
So you have these little satellite centres, and I'm not
yeah.
sure if you can have a satellite centre an hour away, and it's an hour and a half from there. But
We're going to have to do the repeat
I've
show
got
now.
I've
And
got
you're
a
going to
little
have to know
story
it.
for you afterwards. Anyway.
yeah.
Okay, not now, live, on air. No, okay. We'll keep that for another time then, in a debrief meeting. Okay, number 4, Lloyd Jones named in the EFL League One Team of the Season. Brilliant. The centre-back has been recognised following what has been a brilliant campaign at the heart of Nathan Jones' defence, helping the Addicts to keep a club record, as Brownie said, of 23 clean sheets across all competitions. I can't believe we didn't do that under Curbs and Gritty, to be honest. He also chipped in with 3 important goals at the other end. And here's what Lloyd had to say at the awards ceremony in central London last weekend.
Lloydie, place in the EFL League One Team of the Season. How does that feel? It must be a great honour.
Yeah, it's a great feeling. I'm delighted about it, and yeah, it feels great. Feels great.
I mean, how it's been an interesting 18 months since you've been at the club, or a couple of seasons now since you've been at the club. I mean, how do you look back at it? It's been a really good season this season. Obviously, all to play for still in the playoffs. So how do you reflect on your first couple of seasons at Charlton Valley?
Yeah, I think obviously the first season probably struggled with injury a little bit, but you know, I sort of knew what I was capable of, and since the manager's come in, I haven't really looked back, and yeah, I think this season's been a really positive one. Obviously, we've secured the playoffs, and yeah, we can just focus on that now. But yeah, I've loved every minute of it.
What's been the secret behind this sort of second half of the season? A good start. A little bit of a lull in the middle of the season, but this real push since sort of December, January has been incredible. What's the secret behind what your success has been?
I think just implementing the way the manager wants to play and having the confidence to do it, and also when you're winning games, breeds confidence, and I think that's what's been the big part, especially in the second half of the season. Yeah, we just got to keep pushing.
And how about your teammates as well? It's real good togetherness with the gang, with Nathan Jones bringing everything together. Yeah. It seems to be playing an important part in the success so far.
Yeah, and the manager's brilliant at that. He's massive on culture, and that's something he brings to every football club he goes to. And I think, yeah, like I said, confident breeds winning, and yeah, the manager's definitely a winner. So yeah, he brings everyone together.
One more league game to go before we think about the playoffs. Again, despite yesterday and the result at Wrexham, spirits can still be good, can't they? Still be confident, bearing in mind where we've come from, what we've been doing over these last few months.
Yeah, definitely. We haven't lost many games of recent. I think we're from maybe January nearly the most informed team in the league. So yeah, we're confident. We've got a confident bunch, and we're a really together group. So yeah, one last game, and then game time.
Indeed. And Brownie, from one centre-back, well, also right-back, centre midfield, even goalkeeper as well, to another.
Left-back.
Left-back?
Yeah,
You played
played left-back
did you?
as well, yeah. He didn't care where he put me. He just stuck me out there.
As long as you got the appearance, buddy.
I'll go anywhere.
Where left-back? Yeah,
front.
go on then.
Up
Go on then,
front.
why not?
Up front.
Why not? No, I never got up front.
That was the
You
only
wouldn't
position
want
you
to
didn't
see
play.
that.
Yeah.
You wouldn't want
Or
to see
maybe
that.
left wing. Anyway, about Lloyd, just tell us about his season.
Yeah, I think it's a shame, you know, he's had the injuries he's had, because I think when he's one player of the year here, and he's done it off of 30-odd games, 32 games, and I think realistically he has been our best performer, but I would still question mark, you know, fans vote a certain way.
We'll come on to that.
Oh, okay, we'll leave that then. And but from his own personal perspective, when he's been asked to do a job, he's done a very, very good job this year. And I will say it's one of the best centre-half performances I've seen in terms of a centre-half nullifying a centre-forward that I've seen in a very long time at Wickham away. He absolutely destroyed Kone from
we'll
minute
come on
1
to
to
that
minute
as well.
90. Yeah, he was terrific.
He's just killing the show, isn't he?
He's just, we might as well go home now.
If only Tom would send the scripts to all of us, eh? Crikey. Then we might have a clue, mightn't we?
And a sandwich and a cup of
A
coffee.
sandwich and a cup of coffee, Curbs.
If you got here early enough, you'd be in rehearsals, wouldn't you? You know what's going
True.
on. But
Yeah,
anyway, and look, I just got to mention as well, Nathan was shortlisted for Manager of the Year. That went to Birmingham's Chris Davis. I think I could make an argument for Nathan getting it with the money that Birmingham spent, Wrexham as well. Pardon?
And Wrexham. The money. That
Yeah, exactly. Wrexham as well. Maybe Dave Chandler could say something in there, but just a brilliant job. Okay, final one, because we are well over.
We're well over. You can feel it.
The fifth FA Cup winners return to the Valley. And this week marked 20 years since Charlton Athletic won the Women's FA Cup. The anniversary celebrates one of the biggest successes in the women's game for the Addicts. We were thrilled to welcome our former players, including current manager Karen Hills, to take part in a lap of honour ahead of kick-off against Burton on Saturday. And Brownlee, look, given all the work that you've been doing with the ex-players, I would throw it to Liz, but apparently it's all you.
Said Brownlee.
Yeah, no, I didn't actually. I don't know where that's come from.
Liz, that's where it's come from, mate, honestly. But no, on a serious note, it's great to see them all back, isn't it?
Absolutely. Yeah, and it's an area that we've got to grow in, for sure. You know, I will say this, and Kev can agree or disagree, but we're very much in the infancy, myself and Kev. So there's lots to learn, lots to do, lots to understand. And it's coming from all angles. Even the semi-final next week, just trying to arrange for ex-players to come back, where to put them, tickets, etc., bringing their kids. It's never ending. But in terms of us expanding, the women's team certainly, you know, we've got to get in line with and do more for. And that's part of the plan as we progress forward. But we need educating ourselves in terms of sometimes inclusivity is for everybody. And you know, sometimes your brain just works on the job you're doing at that moment in time. So living and learning every day, trying to expand and get better.
Plus, if you're carrying Liz all the time, then that's
I'll tell you what.
Stuff. That's right. Liz, go on, give a little comeback.
No. We normally do
He
it.
can't.
I normally do it when the camera's off.
You literally can't come back.
Okay. Tumbleweeds.
We'll be all right.
Should we move
we'll
on?
Be okay.
We'll be all right. Kev's going to shine when the
Debrief
game.
after.
When
I'll
he
sort out
finally
debrief.
gets a date for a game, he's going to shine. Oh, it's that big
You
fat
can't touch the collar.
It's a big
We've spoken about this earlier.
wide collars.
Don't touch the collar.
Don't touch the collar. It's brilliant to see that all the women back as well. 20 years, I bet that's absolutely flown by. Okay, they were our 5 key talking points of the month just gone past. Now let's reflect on April's fixtures, shall we? And also one of May, of course, with the men's first team. And Mansfield away. We got off to a winning start here. No April's Fools here, as a professional performance on the road earned Nathan Jones's side 3 big points, as goals from Matty Godden and Tyrese Campbell cancelled out Matty Craig's unstoppable strike, I have to say. Brownie, the boys would have been expected to win this one, but no point is ever a given, really. But cast your mind back to the commentary box and that. What was your feeling of this game?
Yeah, I think this was a really tough game, actually. We went up there and it was a really cold Tuesday night, and we just had a very, very good win, I think, at the weekend before against Huddersfield at home. And Mansfield asked a lot of questions, really harassed, pressurised, didn't allow us to settle. And it was a difficult evening. And it's these evenings, funny enough, that probably mean more than the 4-0 Huddersfield win, because we found a way to win a game when, you know, it wasn't even about us not being at our best. You just got to give Mansfield a lot of credit for how difficult they made the game. And we found a way. I mean, that is a wonderful strike. But we found a way to win it without being at our best, because the opposition didn't allow us to be. So it was a credit to the team to get through this one and get the 3 points.
Yeah, this is one of those games, isn't it, where the strikers really step up, don't they, and earn their wages.
Yeah, I think it will reflect on my vote of player of the season as well. Last year we spoke about games like this. These are the games we lose. These are the games we lost, and we needed to work on the games where we wasn't performing well and weren't doing well, but still managed to get wins. And I think this is true reflection of our season. The fact that we go up there, don't play well, as Brownie said, it's not the best weather up there, but we still managed to come away, and we always look a threat now. We always look like we're going to score goals. So yeah, I think these sort of games is what we've been crying for last season, and obviously this is why we are where we are at the moment.
Absolutely brilliant to see Nathan be that jubilant. Let's have a look at the Lincoln game as well. Got to say, of course, we returned to Fortress Valley for the visit of Lincoln. This was also the club's designated Upbeats Walk. More than £41,000 raised, which is absolutely incredible, but more on that later. Curbs, no Tyrese Campbell or Lloyd Jones for this one, and it was a poor first half, wasn't it?
It was, and it was sort of like really flat, and sometimes, and that's the problem I think at the Valley, if there's not a big crowd here, you know, you can hear everything as a player, and you know, it can go against you, and you become really defensive in what you're doing. But we've come back so many times. I mean, just this weekend, you know, you go one down and then we come back, and you know, it's as if that spurs us on a little bit that we've gone behind. But we've had a little bit of help as well in terms of some of the defending of the opposition. But we can't take it away. The results have been fantastic, and as I said, I think what has happened with the great run that we've had is there's a belief in the stadium, and I really felt that on Saturday. You know, coming in, I think there wasn't a party atmosphere, but there was a real belief that, you know, we're going somewhere.
Nathan said after this game, he was very honest, wasn't he, that he sort of made changes that didn't work. Do you remember any? Yeah. Well,
oh, sorry.
Go on.
Sorry, I
Either. I was just going to ask you again, Curbs. Do you remember any games where you sort of made some changes, or you know?
Maybe when I bought Brownie on.
You brought me on at Port Vale, Scotty 2-0 down, and I scored within a minute, and we won 3-2. I don't know why that one sticks in the memory. I've got no idea why that sticks in the memory.
You don't like to talk about it.
Me and Salako come on in the 46th minute.
Yeah.
Well, you made decisions, but it just you think, oh, I shouldn't have done that.
Yeah, you do it. Of course you do. I've done it. I think I've done it in the playoff when we got beat by Palace at Palace. Everyone forgets that we was in the playoffs that year, and I made a couple of mistakes there. But you know, was you playing, Brownie?
That could be me again.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't. Actually, it was Nels.
Was it? Okay.
Yeah, he certainly wasn't happy there, Nathan, was he? Next up, it was Cambridge United away from home. And Tyrese Campbell scoring the Addicts' first attack of the game, and that was enough to take 3 points back to South East London. And Liz, I mean, if you look at the way he plays in this particular movement as well, I mean, it oozes a young player brimming with confidence, doesn't it?
Yeah, the last few times I've watched him, he's matured so much as a player. He looks confident in the box. He's relaxed. He's always got time now. He seems like he's got real presence about him now, and he understands people now, and he understands the right finishes at the right time. He seems like he's got bigger and he's grown. He seems a lot more confident now. And this is a difficult game because I think Cambridge were on a little run before we got there, so it weren't going to be an easy game. But if you've got him in form, as we have done this season, you always got a chance of winning games.
Yeah, it's a modern football, isn't it? Playing on the wrong side.
Yeah.
You know, and defenders.
It's the right side now, isn't it?
Yeah, it's the defender. No, but you know, I remember when we switched John Robinson over to the left, it became much more effective.
That was goals behind him.
Yeah, than playing on the right because he could check back and get his crossing.
Yeah.
And you know, you're seeing that with Saka for Arsenal and etc.
We had Jerome Thomas, didn't we?
Yeah.
Jerome Thomas used to play on the.
And you know, so I think him playing on the left, but can go both ways, is a massive problem to a fullback.
Yeah, absolutely. Brownie, wasn't much of a game, I have to say, and I'm reliably informed the pies weren't up to much either. Is that right?
Oh, jeez, is this
The
pies?
You've forgotten
I
now
don't
already.
recall. No, this wasn't this game, was it?
Was it not?
No, I
That was
don't
Crawley,
think so.
wasn't
Yeah, I can't remember, but this game you got a burger and chips. But no, they didn't register a shot on target. But moments like this, you talk about our defence and clean sheets, and that was a hell of a place to go and get a clean sheet because it wasn't a good game, Scotty. It was a scrappy, horrible game, and Neil Harris's teams tend to do that to you, especially when they're under pressure. But we got the goal. We could have had a second. Matty Godden shot there, which we thought was in the back of the net from the position we had just cannoned off the post. We had Tyrese's shot that was saved low down. We could have been 2 or 3 up at half time. We weren't. They were always going to put us under pressure second half, and they did. And it's those sort of moments there where you saw us crowd out, block shots, get behind the ball, keep a save here and there, clean sheet, 1-0 win. And that's the difference we were talking about earlier and alluding to. It's those games because it wasn't a great one.
Yeah.
But nothing you can do about that. We couldn't get the ball down, we couldn't get going, but we created enough to win that one.
We found
clean
a way
sheet,
to win.
Yeah, clean sheet was the important.
Absolutely. Next up, it was here at Fortress Valley against Northampton as well. And as Brady just alluded to there, it was an edgy affair against the Neil Harris side. And Kevin Nolan had his boys well organised and drilled as well. Despite us getting off to a really good start, this wasn't easy either, was it, Brownie?
No, and again, he's done that time and time again, Luke Berry. He does take up good spots when balls get delivered into the box. He scores an even better goal in a couple of games' time. But that there was a real difficult technical shot, actually, and he kept it under control and put it in the back of the net. But no, I agree. This was a tough game for a different reason. Northampton were a better side than Cambridge. And they crowd out the midfield. There was no space to play in. Yeah. I mean, he made a couple of mistakes, for goals at crucial times. And to be honest with you, it sort of came against the run of play. But it was another one that was an important game to win. You know, and it's not. This is not us not performing well. This is teams making it really difficult for you, and you having to find a way. And that's been a big difference to us this year. You know, being competitive. You know, like Curbs mentioned earlier about scoring goals. You know, we've conceded one there, and you've got to find a way to score two. And we've done that the back half of the season. We've found a way to win games.
We just saw Matty Godden nearly scoring there as well, but he did actually get the winner. And centre forwards must love when those moments in training come off, Liz.
Yeah, and you can see he works on that. A lot of people would say it's coincidence and it's luck, but you just got a smell of it, and you know where the ball's going to land, and you can read people's body positions and where, if defenders are watching you, if they're not watching you. So he's excellent, and when he gets into that box, he's so clinical with what he does, and he's been a real presence. And yeah, we were sort of wondering where we was going to get our goals from when we lost our top goal scorer, but I mean, he's turned up, and he's turned up to every game that he's played in.
You look at that positioning there. It's just a flick on. It's a long ball and a flick on, but he's inside the right hand side of the centre half, behind the left side of the centre half. So he's taken the gamble on the flick on, and it comes his way. And it's not luck. You know, he anticipates, he gets great positions, and then the finish is low under the keeper. You know, it's not luck why he scored 21, 22 goals this season. He's a good player.
There's never any doubt he was going to score.
No.
If you know what I mean.
Yeah.
As he's running through, you're thinking, this is a goal.
Yeah.
Because that's the form he's in at the moment.
Yeah, and not all strikers, you get that feeling as well. Okay, well, after spending the weekend eating far too much chocolate, and that's just brownie.
This is unfair.
And I didn't even say anything.
The Easter weekend got even sweeter for Charlton supporters with, I mean, look, it was an absolutely outstanding victory on the road, wasn't it, against then second place Wickham. And Curbs, not sure what you're up to. You sort of following from afar and getting notifications coming up as well. Just brilliant, wasn't it?
Yeah, and listen, it's a semi-final coming up against the same team. Does it count for anything? I think it does. I think that hopefully we don't go into it overconfident and forget what we've got to do. But surely if you're a Wickham player and you come up against this, and it was, 4, and it could have been more, and they got outclassed in every single department. So they can't be looking forward to it, and they've had another bad result at the weekend, didn't they? So, yeah, I think let's take full advantage of it, but let's not get carried away thinking, well, we turn up there and demolish them in the league game, we can do that again. We've got to go out and get the job done.
It's going to be a dangerous game this week. Yeah. Very dangerous. Yeah. I watched them play against Orient, and they lost 1-0, but they were really good. And then you coincide this loss with the loss at the weekend. They're going to be up for it. They're not going to go in as favourites, and I think this is probably going to be a completely different game. And I'm sure the manager will be saying the same thing to his players.
Just on this though, which one are your favourite goals, Liz?
I just missed the second one. Was it from outside the box? Up there, Berry. I think it's a great finish. And
they didn't show the whole of Anderson's header.
This is a sending-off.
Okay.
Yeah, this was Chuck's sending off.
This is sending-off. When I first saw that, I'm thinking, is that sending off?
Yeah, I said on the day in comms that it's not really an elbow in the face or anything, which is what they were claiming. The guy did make a meal. I mean, the throw back of the head just kills the referee in terms of he looks over. If that's what he sees, that's what he's got to go on.
But we
and then and then the appeal goes. There's not enough evidence.
To see it though, surely.
Well, this is it. But if he looks up at that point where his head's shooting back and the shoulder's going forward, it doesn't do the player or the opposition any favour, right? My argument on the day was forget the appeal, forget the challenge. Why have you even entertained it physically?
When you're 4-0
we're 4-0 up. We're in the semi-finals. It's done and dusted. Use your noddle. If he's winding you up, just walk off. That was the argument I had as an individual. In terms of the contact, that is not a sending off, really. No. It's not. But
don't put yourself into that position.
Just
in the first
don't even
place when you're
entertain
4-0 up.
Yeah.
And a 3-match ban, of course. Let's talk about the Wrexham game because we kind of have to, even though we don't want to. Well, look, at this particular point before the game, chaps, we were at the Valley together, weren't we? Brownie, you were there, obviously. Some key men missing, maybe some key men not fit as well. We just looked off the pace, didn't we? I mean, this is always, I suppose, looking back, going to be Wrexham's day.
I mean, we were going down there hoping to spoil the party. Again, that shouldn't go in. You know, from a defensive perspective, we were a little bit too deep. We got a player out to the ball that didn't really do enough to affect the player taking the shot. So, and it's gone through bodies and blinded. I think our keeper was a bit blinded in terms of his sight. But once the important bit was this bit, you go 1-0 down, that's fine, right? But we lost our way and we were scrambled a little bit, chasing, not getting close, and then you switch off. Your centre halves don't protect the space in behind, and that came 3 minutes later. And I remember saying on comms, look, it's important you don't go 2-0 down, because at 2-0 down, that is kind of effectively, you know, you're done and dusted. They've got a brilliant home record, 68% win ratio before this game. And they're tough to break down. They don't often concede 3 goals on too many occasions. But that was the moment that it was the only real flicker of hope if that had found the back of the net. But they were good on the day. You have to give them credit. They were under a lot of pressure. They were under a lot of pressure from the outside world. Everybody's looking in on them. Their owners are in town. And they've dished up 2 very good performances, one away at Blackpool and this one to get themselves over the line.
Liz, as I say, we did the fan zone, great fun, really enjoyed it. But we were both talking as we were watching it. It almost looked as if we were a bit like rabbit in the headlights. Which actually, the positive side of it is we should be used to it now with that sort of spotlight going into the playoffs. But we were well off it, weren't we?
Yeah, I think looking back at it, I mean, you were sitting there and we was talking about it as the game. We looked overwhelmed. We looked like the occasion got to us, and as Brownie said, the whole world is watching. And but unfortunately, that's where we're going to be now for the next 2 games with this sort of pressure on us. And I just felt like I think League One and playoffs is about problem solving, and I think we found it difficult to sort out the problems they were giving us. Even with the second goal, he made that run just before, I think it was 5 minutes earlier. So you think, as a centre back, you're thinking to yourself, all right, he's quite clever with his runs. Let's step off and give him. Let's make sure we can see his runs and stay close to him. And he does it again and he scores. So yeah, we just looked overwhelmed and we didn't look like we were problem solving enough. But as me and you both spoke about, this could be a good time to have that game coming onto the playoffs. So hopefully we learn from our mistakes.
Yeah. So then, how important was it, Curbs, coming into the last game of the season against Burton, that, you know, after what happened against Wrexham and this being the last game before the playoffs, that we won and we won well? Yeah,
we did win well, and you know, going 1 down again. But just going back to the Wrexham game, it looked as if the Wrexham game was 1 game too many for us. I thought we looked tired on the day. You know, they looked a lot sharper and quicker and whatever. And I think Nathan can use that going into this playoff, because it is going to be nervy. It is going to be a big occasion. And, you know, you're going to have to handle it. And, you know, the first leg at Wickham, you know, there's going to be an expectation from both sides, but there's going to be an expectation when we go to Wickham, and the atmosphere is going to be exactly the same as the Wrexham game. We're going to have to handle it. But we got ourselves back in the game again through Godden, and then there was only going to be 1 winner as far as I was concerned after that. And, you know, it's not just his goals, is it? It's not just his goals.
We've got to make sure we get him involved in the game. We've got to make sure that he gets chances and we're connected to him, because I think he'll be the difference whether or not we win those 2 games or not. I think we struggled to get him involved in the game at Wickham, and we suffered for it.
I'm just going to have a quick word about Alex, because it was his fault for the first goal, and he was crestfallen. He put his head in his hands, and he was absolutely devastated. He then made another mistake quickly after that, and then he really gathered his thoughts. That first Godden goal where he rounds the keeper, that comes from a challenge from Alex Mitchell. He scores the goal in the second half. He recovered very, very well as an individual, went on to have a very good game and needs a bit of credit. But yeah, I think Godden's goals, everyone sees the goals. We replay them because they get shown on highlights every weekend, but it's the stuff out of possession that people won't see. He sets the tone as a front man against a back line, and he makes play predictable behind the ball by shutting off one side. And it's backed up very well by the midfield. They're very good at it this year. They're very good at making sides play down one side, and if teams get through and back into the middle, we reset. But he's the one that starts it off, and he does an incredible amount of work out of possession, and the rewards are the goals when we get possession. I can't believe he wasn't in the top 3 for Player of the Year. I just can't believe it, but it is what it is.
Still, keep
Yeah.
your powder
Well,
dry.
because
We'll
obviously, if
come
you're
on to
coaching
it.
players, Scotty, you've got to put them up in the top. haven't you?
Absolutely,
You know?
and we'll come on to it. Don't
And,
worry.
and just going back to that, like letting Alfie May go and bringing Godden in for
Let's save that for your player of the season. Honestly, we're going to have plenty of time for it. Don't worry about that. I just wanted to mention as well. You know, Nathan made changes, but not too many, and the likes of Alex and Alex Gilbert as well, and Ashley played. He's talked about, and just you can talk about as well, the importance of the squad members, even if they don't have many games, how important it is to be there on the training ground, to be positive, to be supporting the team, even if they're not playing on a Saturday afternoon.
Yeah, there's two things going to it. Obviously, he's introduced one or two of the players that haven't been getting a game as we're going forward to the playoffs. But, you know, when you're winning every week, it puts everyone in their place. You know, you don't have too many people knocking on the door. How can they? You know, I'm not saying that Nathan wants an easy ride, but, you know, when you make a decision as a manager and you get the result on the Saturday, then you know, there's no comebacks, is there? It's when it don't work, they come knocking on the door on a Monday. But, you know, so, look, where we're at the moment, I think that, as I said on previous occasions, if Nathan asks them to go out there with their shorts around their ankles, they're going to do it at the moment. You know what I mean? It's just it's the way it is. And I've noticed as well, certainly here when we nick a goal, everyone's involved. Like the subs jump out of the dugout. You know, they must be on fantastic bones. I don't know, but they're all included. Everyone's in it. You know, the staff are jumping up and down. You know what I mean? It's just like as if everyone is. They know what they're doing. They know what's expected. And if you ain't playing or you're come off, you go on, and everyone's in it together. That's how it seems to me at the moment.
As a player as well, it gets to a point where you just want to win in it. You just want to win the league. I think they've done so much as a group. I think you sort of look at the team now rather than yourself. I think it's now about right, who's the best person for the job at hand. And as a player, if you have to sit back and you have to come on and contribute any way necessary, I think we're at that point now where in training they won't care who's playing. They just want to get over the line and have that day where they all get to celebrate.
Not everyone can come off the bench and score a hat-trick against Liverpool.
No,
or
start.
Or start.
But it's a simple thing. I think you know, not knowing the makeup of Wickham, but if Nathan pulled one of the players in that played at the weekend and going, look, Wickham's strength is this, and I need to make a change. You know, I'm sorry, but I've got to make a change. I think everyone will accept it. They'll be gutted and whatever. But if that's the way that we're going to get promoted, I think everyone's in it, you know. And it should be like that if you're in the playoffs.
That's not an easy thing to do for a manager, I would imagine, as well. But it does feel when you know you've been there in terms of promotion, both through playoffs and automatic promotion. As you say, the winning games, one, you don't get the knock on the doors, but two, there is that kind of team spirit, without a doubt, that is part of the squad, not just the team. Okay, let's move on now, shall we, and talk about our goal of the month, because we've got our Chicken George Goal of the Month competition. April is the month where the goals matter most. Let's press play for a short list of 6. Go on, carry on.
No, little off-air chat there.
Go on.
I
Bring it
don't
on
get no. Well,
He's moaning about
Curbs
moaning
really
about
like the
defending.
finish.
I said, all right, fine.
I've never seen a defender show inside in the
Yeah,
middle
but
of the
then it was
80-yard
just
box.
the way he just lifted it over him. I thought it was a really good finish.
I agree with you, Curbs. but-
Yeah, you would.
So, if you'd have been in rehearsal, you'd know that all the production staff know. Although I know who they're going for as well, but they don't get the vote. Sorry, chaps. Who are we going for?
Luke Berry.
I quite like Kai's goal. Is it Kai?
Kai.
The free kick.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good goal.
I'm going to go for Kai.
Curbs.
What are you looking at me for?
Because you've changed.
What, as a person?
I think you've been influenced by Brownie.
Yeah, Berry all day long. Curbs. Good pick.
No.
Good pick.
No.
Good pick. Yeah, Berry for me.
I'd never be your
Well,
pick.
that's what surprised me.
Not even on fashion, Curbs.
That's absolutely stunned
We
me.
have a single on Brownie, not even on fashion.
Actually
Not
stunned me,
even on a bit
that
of
is.
fashion.
Well, you've been saying about how Ruben Reid's goal was really good and that, and suddenly he's having a pop at the defending, and you know which goal he's going to go for
No,
because
I
he
just
said
the
it.
finish. I didn't like the defending because he went past 3 defenders who showed him inside.
Okay.
But the actual finish,
Crikey.
but Berry's,
sounded
Berry's
like him,
well,
really
yeah.
good.
Okay, so
We're
so
all
it's
over the
2
place.
to 1.
I want Berry, yeah. The importance of that goal at 1-0 made it 2-0.
Remember when I said the importance of when Lee Burns scored?
No, but hold on,
I'm gonna
because I
speak.
remember it clearly.
Yeah.
You said it wasn't the importance I was saying against the strike for, say, the under-21s. I'm saying about the importance of the goal on our season, not against another one of the goals. You actually said that one's better because it was in a league game. I'm saying the importance of the goal on our season, which was 1-0 at Wickham to go 2-0, which kind of flattened them and gave us a shot at going up second still. It was a brilliant strike,
In a game that we won, 4-1.
but that was 1-0 at the time.
I thought that was. Is that not the second one?
That was the second. We were winning one, that made it
Yeah.
2, and it broke them.
Let me know when you finished. Yeah.
Oh, we could go on for a
We
lot
will.
longer than that.
And we will.
yeah, down the oak.
Okay, so we're saying Luke Berry.
Berry for me.
Luke Berry, you have won the Chicken George goal of the month. And this is why.
It's a great
I have
finish.
to say it's a great strike.
It's a good finish.
For the record, I love Kai's strike. Henry's brilliant too. I actually would have given it to Ruben Reid because, do you know what? I love a little dribble and a dink rather than a one-off strike. But my vote doesn't really matter. Luke, well done indeed. Okay, following full-time on Saturday, the club announced their end-of-season award winners. For those of you who might have missed it, we began with the PFA Community Champion of the Year award. Jason Morgan, MBE, helping do the honours as Thierry Small was acknowledged to do his outstanding work. Well done, Thierry.
He's on tiptoe there. He's definitely on tiptoe because Thierry's quite a tall lad.
Like that photo we had in the golf, and he was on his
Yeah.
tiptoes as well. Okay, next we had the Valley Gold Young Player of the Year award. Some stars have won this in the past, and Valley Gold chairman Matt Baker was on hand to present to Tyrese Campbell.
Because you've won it, yeah.
Well, they're Charlotte's words, not mine, but you know, if that's what she thinks, then I'll take that twice. Don't want to talk about it. The Players Player of the Year award was midfielder Connor Coventry. That's always a nice one to win, of course, when your teammates are voting. And then it was time to announce the Player of the Year voted by the supporters. The votes counted up, and the top 3 were presented to the Valley crowd. So, in third place, Connor Coventry picked up another piece of silverware to recognise his consistent performances in the middle of the park. Second place, young Tyrese Campbell. Well done, TC. Great season for you so far. Not finished yet, by the way. And winning player of the year for the 24-25 season, centre-back Lloyd Jones. And whilst you've had your say, I'm keen to get the thoughts of the trio alongside me. A Charlton TV awards segment, if you wish, right now. Gents, I think it's telling of the season we've had. Very deserving trio, but we could have given other combinations and that, couldn't we? So, I mean, who wants to go first? We'll do player of the season.
That's a joke, by the way.
No.
It's a joke.
Player, I said what? Not what. If you was playing with him,
Who was your player of the year?
Godden.
Mate,
Gordon.
that's scary, that.
It's unbelievable.
That's scary.
No. Let's not take nothing away from
No,
the defensive work that has been done.
No, we're not talking about the
But the hardest
number
thing,
one.
the hardest thing in the game is to score goals.
It's not. It's to stop a right winger. That's what it is.
Is it? Well, especially if he can check back and of course it will. No, but I just think that Matty has given us the confidence that if he gets an opportunity, he's going to take it. And, you know, as players, and you've got someone like that in your side, you know if we could just fashion one chance, and then we'd defend for our lives. We know that we've got something to cling on to. I just think that, you know, he's come in, and as I said earlier about the Dobbo and the Matty, Andy May, Alfie May, and George Dobson going as well, and who've done great. Don't get me wrong, but they were big decisions, and I think he's come in, and it's not just his goals either. The way he brings people into, I know he does remind me of Clive a lot, where he brings other people into the game, but you think, oh, if he gets one chance, he's going to finish it.
High praise indeed, and you like him as a character as well, don't you?
Yeah, I mean, you have to factor in, and I don't know Alfie, right? But I'm gonna bet £1 that Matty brings a different vibe into the dressing room in terms of how he approaches training, how he looks after himself with food and drink, how he goes around talking to other players. I would imagine that tops what Alfie brings to a dressing room, but I'm saying that without any true knowledge. It's an assumption I'm making, right? And having worked with him for a small period of time, I know how he is as a human being, and he's a top lad. And they're the ones you want. You need them in dressing rooms. You do need the other side as well. You need a bit of arrogance in there. You need people to believe we're the best team and that you're the best individual. But you also need ones that, you know, rub off on other people in terms of their ability. They're getting at 9:30, 9:15. They're working when you turn up. They're still working afterwards with a bag of balls, getting their penalties done and stuff like that. I just get the feeling he's one of those players. But I want to give a little mention to Gillespie as well, who I knew wasn't going to feature in the fans' player of the year and probably not the players' player. But statistically, he's played more minutes than anybody else. He's been in a back three that's kept 23 clean sheets. He's scored something like 5 or 6 goals, 4 assists, something like that, in big goals as well. And yet, we gave him a little bit of stick early on in the season. And I think it's testimony to him that he's turned the season round and had the season that he's had. And just wanted to give him a mention because, you know, he hasn't featured in that. He does a lot of his stuff under the radar. It's, you know, but I think he's had a terrific season in terms of when you look at all the minutes, the statistics, he's had a great year.
I know you'd only put £1 on.
I can't put any more than that,
yeah,
Scotty.
Yeah,
Can't.
I know you very well from our youth team days, let alone first team. Liz, anything you want to say just on Player of the Year before we move on to young player?
Yeah, just quickly, if you was to ask any team, if you could take 3 players out of you would play against Charlton team, you take 3 players out of the team, who would they take? I think every club would take Matty out. They wouldn't want him in the Charlton squad against them. I think he would probably be one of the 2. I think if you was to name 2 players, you're looking at the centre back and you're looking at Matty, and you take those 2 out and you say you can put anyone else in to replace them. We don't want them into. And
I think the spine of the team.
Yeah,
100%.
Spine,
right down the middle.
Yeah,
it's been excellent.
Yeah,
apart from the others as well. Don't get me wrong, but the keeper.
Yeah, I don't.
The keeper.
It's the important.
Jones.
Yeah.
Coventry.
Yeah, I think you're not going to take anything away from the 3 that have got it because they've all been unbelievable and they're a massive contribution to what we've done. But for me, Matty is probably been a standout player for me.
A resounding vote for Matty then. What about young player? Who wants to go there?
I think the right person got that.
Yeah, I think the right person.
Yeah.
He's so unpredictable. That's what I like about him, is that when he receives the ball, he can go down the line on his left foot. He can cut inside and score with his right foot. Brownie would hate to play against him, wouldn't you? What would
You would just kick him. You would just kick him. You would
get tight, Kev, is what I prefer. I'd get tight and make him play back towards his own goal is what I prefer to say at that point. Or I'd get Newts back on his toes. Sean, you're not going to be attacking today, Sean. Just come and sit inside the kidder.
But I saw him come into the side and I saw a very raw kid who had a lot of talent. And he sort of burst on, then struggled. And, you know, I think he had a few injuries in that. But I always thought, you know what, there's a player there. And this season is the one for him. I'm thinking, actually, do you know what? Hopefully he's get the confidence he can crack on.
You know, pace, strength, and he's honest. He gets back and helps out. But because he can go both ways, that's a real problem for defence.
I think a couple of things on Tyrese. They found a position for him, which is down to Nathan, because they were popping him wing back, right side of midfield, etc., and they've popped him in this left spot. Doesn't have to track back as much, but as long as he's producing going forward. The thing I think that's changed this season is he's got more selfish. When he cuts in now, he'd pass it sideways, he'd go outside and deliver. Now he's cutting inside, we're seeing more shots on goal, we're seeing more assists. And he has to get that into his game if he's going to be that player. So I think he's developed very, very well over the last 12 months.
Has Thierry Small come close at all or not? He's only 20.
He's close, definitely close. I think he's had a good season as well, but as Brownie just alluded to, like, he's matured so much when he gets in those areas now. He always seems to find the right finish, whether or not he scores or not. He seems to make right decisions now, and more than likely the right decision for someone like him when he gets in the box is to shoot first. And then obviously if the shot's not on, then you sort of look to pass it to someone. But he seems to be making the right decision now, which is quite mature for a young boy.
And Zach Mitchell, of course, went out to St Johnstone on loan, didn't he? Made an impression there, committed his futures to the club. I think he's one to watch out for again. But again, this is what this club's all about, isn't it? The academy, or certainly bringing through players, youngsters.
5 players finished the game. It was academy day, I think, against Burton, and we had 5 finish, or maybe 6, I think, because I missed out. I missed out Maynard Brewer. But we had, we finished the game with so many academy players on the pitch. It was good to see.
Yeah. Okay, goal of the season. Have you had a think about that at all? Or?
I've had a little think. And
go on.
Yeah, I can't see past Miles's goal. What's
the SP on Miles?
Injured.
Yeah, I know that.
I'm not sure. I don't know.
Right.
I honestly don't know. No.
You
But
must
I
know
thought that was
something.
a
No.
Well, no, what I'm saying about what a way to go. No Chucks, no Miles. You know, I thought definitely he would have rested Godden on Saturday, but perhaps Godden didn't want to, or wants to still play. But if he got injured, then let's free a big centre forwards out. So big decision.
Who did you go for?
I'd have gone for Miles's chip, just because I just thought, as he burst through, the keeper came, and it was only one thing he could do, and he did it superbly well technically in terms of picking his spot, lifting it over the keeper. It's a difficult skill. But you are talking to a guy that can't remember last week, so unless you run up 10 best goals, I'm just going to do it. Yeah,
we might well do that if we have another show between now and the playoff final.
Yeah, I'm going to go Miles as well, to be fair. I was thinking about the other one where he jinked through and Brownie didn't like that one.
I was thinking of that one as well.
Yeah. But
yeah, I always see you guys always see. This is what, unfortunately, living up here is not nice. Is that you lot all just look at the finish? Well, the first thing I do is go, well, he could have done better defensively. So it takes 10%, 20% away from the goal, and I shouldn't do that.
Yeah, I think with finishes, you sort of you're moving defenders around as well as a striker in it. So I think you get credit for that. And I know what you're saying in terms of defenders defending a little bit better, but I always look at it from the striker's point of view, and did he make the space for himself by doing a bit of skill and something like that. So yeah, I like Miles' goals, because also you got to look at the size that he is, and I'm sure it's a lot more difficult for him than it is a shorter player to move the way he does inside the box in tight areas, and still manages to get really good finishes off.
Just got to keep him fit. Yeah. What about moment of the season?
Yeah, I've got a distinct one.
I've got one as well. Go on.
So my one, you would talk about fans uniting with the team and Nathan uniting the both. My one was Leighton Orient away.
Yeah, me too.
Was it?
Yeah.
Because I just felt that day we were 1-0 down, didn't deserve to be 1-0 down, and it looked like we were going to lose. And we come up with an equaliser, and everybody was chuffed. And then obviously Kane comes up with that 94th minute goal. But it was not just a turnaround in the result. 97th, okay, brilliant, even better. It was how the fans stayed for 20 minutes and sung their hearts out. There seemed to be something that day that just thought, right, we are going to be a playoff team this season. We're going to get behind this team from now to the end of the year. I think we sold out every away game from that point onwards. We weren't short of numbers and away games anyway, but they just made sure that there was an away following from that point onwards. And they just, I've not seen anything like that for a long time, probably since Doncaster in the semi here, where that was a similar sort of atmosphere as a home side. But they stayed and sung. The team went over together. Nathan went over. The team went in. The runners came out who have to work after the game. They were still there singing. That was the moment for me that I thought, they are all together here, believing that this is going to be a good campaign for us.
I think my one was, obviously I wasn't at the Orient game for obvious reasons, but my one was the Birmingham game here. It's been a while since I've seen this club like that again, and there was a real sense of togetherness that day, and Birmingham never had a sniff. I thought we outplayed them, we outworked them, and it felt like the old Charlton team back, and it felt like the big games, the fans and players were connected again, and the management as well. We were never going to lose that game against Birmingham, and from that day on, I thought we've actually got a chance here.
Yeah, I think we showed our potential again, didn't we? When things go well.
I was just thinking what happened there on the weekend. you know, it shocked me a little bit as I come into the ground. Well, eventually got in the ground and got out of the car with Fred, and the atmosphere in you know, where the little play area is, and there was loads of fans all over the place, and just the feeling. It wasn't a feeling of like celebration or anything. It was like we're going somewhere a little bit, you know, and everyone's in it together. But I do think, me personally, it was Nathan's decision on them 2 players. That was a big decision. Alfie May and George Dobson, who had been like kingpins here last season, but they didn't fit into his way of thinking, and he made a big decision. It's worked.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, good to get your thoughts on that as well. There are the Charlton TV Awards. Season not finished yet, of course. Trip to Adams Park on Sunday before sell-out second leg here at the Valley on Thursday evening as well. And we caught up with club captain Greg Doherty to get a sense of what the mood is like in the dressing room. Now, the pair's conversation with Charlotte, of course, is going live on our YouTube channel, so be sure to tune in and give the full thing a watch. Curbs, just on Greg as a captain, is he someone that you would have liked? What have you made of his leadership this season?
It reminds me a bit of Kins and Parker a little bit. You know, he gets around the pitch. He's aggressive. He can play, and you can see that he gets into players, like his own players. You know, he's always like talking and chatting, and no, he's been excellent. I think, you know, we was talking about the player of the year, but Connor Coventry, he's been excellent. You know what I mean? He hasn't even had a mention, so that just shows you how good we've been this season. But no, I think all of them have got. It seems like a real good group. You know, I obviously don't know any of them personally, but they all seem a real good group, and obviously results help that. And as I said, I think if Nathan said to them this week, "This is what we're going to do," they'd all do it. There'd be no question. And that's when you get it like that, it's great.
And you mentioned, of course, filling the boots of Dobbo, who was extremely popular here. That was, you know, you mentioned about Matty, how well he's done with Alfie, but not easy to follow Dobbo, is it?
No, and to be fair to the 2 boys, Alfie and Dobbo, they've gone and done well. You know, one's gone to Birmingham, which, you know, was always going to be a winner, I think. But and Dobbo's gone to Wrexham and done ever so well. But it was big decisions that Nathan made, and perhaps the board might have gone, a little bit, you know. But we're backing him. He knows what he's doing. This is it. And
how did they go?
Well,
I was about to ask.
What? We're selling our captain. We're selling our captain, and we're selling the guy who scored away goals.
Yeah.
Oh, all right, okay.
That's a W.
Yeah. Oh,
sure.
What should we do? Is he all right? It's like when I went in to see Richard Moore and said, Brownie and Liz, they got to go.
Okay,
no
no
room
problem.
They went about time.
And also, I went, can you believe it, Richard? Minto wants to go to Chelsea instead of Arsenal. just cost us £100,000.
What a nightmare choice.
Can you believe it?
Again, don't like to talk about it. But Greg helped Hull, you know, win this division as well. So Brownie, how crucial is it that you've got someone who has been there, seen it, done it in the dressing room when, I mean, this is pressure like no other time.
Yeah, I think that's vital, actually. You know, you have your young players coming through, and you're trying to coach and develop them, and start hopefully what is 200-300 games for them. But it's equally important to have people that have been there, seen it, done it. So it's the games, like we said, the Cambridge away, the ones where you need people to just make sure everyone's settled. We went 1-0 down a game the other week, and we were really calm, stayed really calm, fought our way back into it, and won 2-1. I think it was Northampton, can't remember. But we did go behind, and it's the Luke Berry's, funny enough, and the Dohertys, and the more senior heads that just have played the game well this year in terms of the long game. They didn't panic in that first sort of 3 months of the season when it was a little bit up and downy. And what I like about Doherty, I've seen, I'm probably not going to like this, Nathan, but I've seen him come on and absolutely tear Doherty to pieces, like rip him to pieces, and he just knows how to deal with that. And some people don't. Some people react, and he allows Nathan to come on and tell him in whatever way he feels necessary that it's not good enough or whatever. It's not normally a pat on the back.
You feel like a kindred spirit with what you had to put up with the Curbs?
I had some hard days. Don't get me wrong.
But the modern day player, to be fair, doesn't take that very well.
Right, or
generally,
but he does. I've seen him walk off and just listen, and his expression doesn't change. whether that's just he's a good captain and he knows that the time isn't right to do it in front of everybody, the time might be a knock on the door the next day. I've watched him deal with that, and I think there's a value to that because there's no reaction, and so that filters through. That's your captain. That filters through. That people go, look, just let Nathan be Nathan. Let Nathan deal with any scenario how he wants to do it, because I think behind closed doors you've got a guy that will absolutely bat for you in your manager, and he has to get things off his chest. I think, having watched him over the last 18 months, he has to get them off his chest. And it doesn't matter where it is. If it's in front of 15,000 or whatever, he has to do it there and then. And Doherty deals with that very, very well. So there's a bit more to him than just... And he has picked up, by the way. You know, he like most of the team, the first 3 months were very much up and down, but he has been stable and very, very solid from sort of Christmas onwards.
Yeah, well done, Greg. Very good first season. Again, still not finished as yet. Charlotte said she really enjoyed the chat as well, though she keeps on having to pay for the coffees. She keeps on moaning about it all the time, honestly. Charlotte's only... No, actually, no, they should pay. OK, before we turn to our full attention to Wycombe, I just quickly wanted to mention how delighted I was to join the many, many addicts, as well as ex-players as well, to take part in the annual Upbeats sponsored walk. Let's take a look back at what was a very special event.
Well, we've always been a community club. We've always done amazing initiatives, and the Charlton Upbeats is a huge part of that. So when you look at days like today, the reason it's so special is you've got a group of Charlton fans who may not know each other coming to an event where they may not know many people, don't know the Upbeats, don't know the staff that run it, but will walk and raise money because they see how amazing this event is. And not just this event, but what the Upbeats do throughout the year is amazing and a rewarding thing to watch. One of the highlights of the Charlton calendar is seeing the Charlton Upbeats at half-time going through the presentation run around the pitch. It's an amazing feeling watching that and giving back a little bit to people who aren't able to maybe do the things that we can do on a daily basis, but have the same sort of joy and the same sort of emotion. Football's all about emotion.
This, as I say, it's my first time doing this. I've read about it and spoken to Bob on numerous occasions about it, and I just thought, you know, last week when I saw that it was advertised, I thought, you know what, come along and see what it's all about.
Yeah, it's brilliant. As you say, I came down last week, and the atmosphere around about here was fantastic, and the football that we're playing was very good as well. But as John said, it's our first time, so hopefully we can get the whole 9 miles in without him trying to get to the pub.
It's been brilliant. I mean, I literally have been right at the back, speaking to boys and having a bit of a laugh, and I mean, what a day for it as well. I mean, there's not a cloud in the sky. So at this moment in time, the legs are holding out. Got a bit of a cold at the moment. I know Mortz has as well. He used to play in front of me, and he's been about half a mile in front of me today. But no, it's been really good fun.
They're always smiling, which I think is a really good thing. And, you know, one of those smiles I'll be thinking about in an hour's time when my legs are going. It's those smiles that will keep me going.
It's just a good cause. Everyone at Charlton, it's a family club. Get the Upbeats playing football and weekends away, and yeah, it's just a fun day and raise them enough money as we can.
Yeah, it's our third year doing it now. We've been supporting them for ages, and it'd be quite nice for them just to have the football what they want, like me.
What's the best thing about being a Charlton Upbeat?
To be a Charlton Upbeat, that does make me very, very happy to play for Charlton.
Yeah, it was a really special day walking from the training ground to the Valley. We raised £41,000, which is just absolutely amazing from the Charlton fan base to help fund this brilliant programme. Liz, it is incredible. And do you know what? You kind of, whenever you're in their company, however you're feeling, you can't help but leave them feeling, actually, they've made my mood a lot better. They're absolutely fantastic.
I think Mort said it there, didn't he? Like, that will keep them going, their smile. And only people that have done things like that understand what he means by that. When you're tired and that, and then you see their smile, it gives you... But that's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. This is such a community club. And just to hear one of them say, it's an honour to play for Charlton. They're really connected to the club. And they feel a part of the club, and I think that's important as well. And yeah, it's important that you see so many ex-players down there. Couldn't be there myself because of my dodgy knees, but it's so good.
We're only walking.
Yeah,
It was really slow.
Oh, was it? Oh, no,
yeah,
no one told me.
Well.
I thought we were running, sorry.
Did you?
Yeah. But yeah, as Mort said, to see the smile on their face and and they feel connected to the club is such a good feeling.
£41,000. That's 2 weeks' wages for Liz.
Not even when he was at his height. Not even when he was at his height would he got that in a month. So,
but nice to see some of the ex-players there as well, wasn't it?
Brilliant, yeah, and I get the feeling we recycle the same faces, and we've got to do better there in terms of getting more people involved. I've had my knees done now, Scotty, so I reckon I could do a little bit next season. Yeah, I could do. How long is it? 9 miles.
Well, as long as you want, it's 9 miles. Yeah, 9, 10 miles.
Nine's a bit of a stretch, but I could join in next year.
I'll with you, bro. Me and you do it.
Yeah, we'll do it next year. Yeah, if we're still around.
If we're still around. Unless we've been fired.
Fired from the ex-Charlton Players Association.
It's amazing how you can get yourself fired from all sorts.
Unbelievable. And Curbs, final one here. I mean, we know our community trust is one of the best in the country as well, but you know, they couldn't do as much as they do without the quality, and there's so many people putting their hand in the pocket to donate, sponsor and get involved, because I know it's the only one of the trust where it relies purely on donations.
Yeah, and it's been going for some time, and I'm with the boys here that, you know, when you bump into the gang of them, you know, it's good fun, you know, and they make some comments as well, you know, and they're honest, straight to the point, you know. So, it's a great effort, and I just think that it's just another thing that makes this club what it is.
Yeah, Jonathan West sends me stuff on Insta as well. There's so many of them, and it was a fantastic day. And if you want to keep on donating, if you haven't already, then please do. If you have, then thank you very much indeed. But they are very, very special people for sure. Okay, right, without further ado, should we preview the playoffs, or have we done that already now? I mean, you know, honestly, Brownie, you've mentioned it already. But look, I will come to you. We'll show the goals because we did a double over them, but this was certainly a long time ago anyway. But in terms of the teams in the mix, how happy do you think Nathan would be that we're facing Wickham?
Yeah, I just heard some mutterings about Stockport, that, you know, their ground is intimidating, they're a big side, and etc. I look at the teams that come late, and I'm looking at Orient thinking, you know, they did give us a bit of a game at their ground, and they've had a great run recently, and same as ours, to be fair. But no, I'm happy as can be, I suppose, with Wickham. But let's get through that first, and I don't care who's in the final.
Yeah, worry about the final when we get there. Liz, you know, as I say, we did the double. What kind of a test do you think that they will pose?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a difficult one, because I actually watched this game as well, and I felt we were good in this game as well. I felt we defended really well, and we deserved the win. And obviously beating them at their place, I just feel they're going to be up for it, and I think it's going to be a really difficult, tricky game. Sorry, I turned away there for 2 seconds and missed it. But yeah, I think it'll be a tricky game. All 4 teams in the playoff. It's about who handles the pressure better, and hopefully it's us.
Yeah, look, we haven't lost to anybody, I don't think, in the playoff places. We did a double over Wickham, double over Leyton Orient, and drew twice with Stockport. I think there comes a point when you look at our record and you just go, look, whatever it is, we approach it in a manner that we've approached most sides in the back half of this season, because we have been outstanding. If you remove Birmingham's results, we are the next best team in terms of points.
If you look at the other teams, they don't want us.
That's what I mean.
Yeah, they won't want us.
Without being overconfident, you've got to go and do the same stuff. You've got to start on that front foot, press high. But we are a good side. So rather than, and I understand why people would say what they said about Stockport. They were the better side at their place. They're hard to play against. And again, that was another clean sheet that day that I thought was a tremendous clean sheet. But you know, we will be in the fight no matter who we play. But Leyton Orient have come into it with 6 straight wins. You know, so that holds water as well in terms of an argument. They are super confident, and actually I fancy them to maybe go and upset Stockport. And I'm fingers crossed for an all-London final, if I'm honest. That'd be unbelievable.
No, for you it will be not.
Why wouldn't it be good for you?
Well,
I mean, it's Orient. It's Charlton all the way, isn't it?
It is Charlton all the way, but
yeah. Made him say it.
Yeah.
Would he say that on Orient TV?
No chance. He'd take the caps off, wouldn't he? Get 2 caps under the table.
But you know, we've shown this again because this was so recent and it was so convincing. So are we saying that Wycombe are scarred by it, or are we saying they're absolute out for revenge?
And there are other results as well.
Yeah.
It's not just this one.
They've had a big drop off, but they've had some tough fixtures to end the season. They did have the toughest running, but what I would say is we scored some very good goals on the day. But the important bit is that we don't think that because we've done a double, we've had that result. And they won't do that. Nathan won't allow it, and the players probably won't allow it. But that's the fear. The fear is that you think you've had a 4-0 win. I think they've just lost their central midfielder to an injury last game of the season, Scowen, who's a good player for them.
They've also lost their manager, so
a bit like Plymouth. I thought they were going to drop off after that, and they haven't. They've done very, very well. But I fancy us, which is probably the worst thing you can say. But I do think we're in a great position to advance on that one. I do.
I think I watched them play against Orient a couple of weeks ago, and they looked tired. Hopefully they're still tired, but I'm with Brandy. I think it's going to be about us. I think all four, as Curb said, all teams in those playoffs wouldn't want to play us. So I think we've got to turn up and we've got to do our job.
Richard Kone, of course, has had an excellent season. Young EFL League One Player of the Year and Player of the Year as well, so a double victory for him. Brownie, you mentioned a little bit earlier, didn't you, about just the fantastic job that Lloyd done on him, and he's going to have to do that again.
Yeah, he just absolutely didn't give him a moment's rest. The whole game, from minute one, first ball up, bang, went down the side, won it. And there wasn't, I don't recall a moment. I mean, they didn't have their first shot on target to about the 85th minute. That's how good we were defensively on the day. I think that's right. But it was the way he systematically went after Kone as an individual. The two either side of him, it was a comfortable day for him, because every time he went in short to receive it, Lloyd, he was on top, bang, that first ball up, we were winning it. Coventry or Dockett were picking up the pieces. And it took us about 10 minutes to do that, to get control. But then once they got control, we were looking really good. And I've never seen a centre, I haven't seen a centre half for a long time go after an individual and just do a job like that, where the guy must have thought, just take me off and give me a rest. Save me for the playoffs.
It's important, but I watched him play the other day, and it's important that you're right, when he goes in there, that the centre-back goes with him, because I watched him, he does like to go in there and get rim and turn and do little 1-2, so I think it's important that our centre-backs go right in there with him, and as Brownie said, go after.
Just on that though, I mean, again, psychologically, which is when you get into the playoffs, I think it's so important. If you've been a centre forward who's come up against a centre half where he's not giving you a sniff and you're up against him in a really important game, how much is that on your mind?
Yeah, I don't like it, to be honest with you. And as Brownie said, I didn't see the game, but if there's a centre-back that's always on me and aggressive...
Can you remember one that you came up against back in the day?
the Invincibles, Rio, Vidic. I remember Vidic more than anyone else. I remember playing him at Old Trafford, and he would win the ball, he would tackle you, win the ball, and make sure you get a little bit of view as well, and it's each and every time. And it got to a point where I was actually like... get me off. I think Curbs actually did take me off, but it does stick in your, and it's not too far away, so I'm sure he'll be thinking, all right, and I want to prove to him, but there'll be a little bit of fair in there as well.
The other thing I think is a fair mention is, I don't know why he did this, their manager, but he dropped two of their goal scorers that played behind Kone. So Fred, who plays on a regular basis, and Udo, I think, left them both out and played McLean, who's a decent player, but he's 36, 37, he's only scored twice this year, so I just wonder if they're going to revert back to those two playing off of Kone, which would give us a different problem.
And Curbs, look, you've done it. You've got through the playoffs as well as the final, but in terms of just the semi-finals, how do you prepare mentally and tactically ahead of... This is it now, the next two games,
yeah,
and
the little
hopefully
difference
three.
is that we just played them, and got a fantastic result. And, although we want to go into it feeling really confident, but we've got to do a job. And, I think that, Nathan is, the way he conducts himself, I don't think he'll allow anyone to go in there too confident. Although you want to be, obviously, but, we've got to do a job in that first leg. And I think the atmosphere and everything else, we couldn't handle the Wrexham one in terms of what was thrown at us. But I think this is a little bit different. I think we've got the edge mentally on the opposition. But it is over two legs. And, when we went to Ipswich in our one, it was always going to be a tight game. Ipswich was a good side. It was always going to be a tight one. And we nicked a goal, which gave us that real big lift for the second leg.
and obviously we're playing away from home first of all, but the Valley, I was told here on Saturday, was just sensational. We're finding this real togetherness. We've mentioned it already throughout the programme as well. And then Nathan mentioned it post-match as well. We're really going to need the fans both away and at home, aren't we?
Yeah, away will sell out. That's a given. It's whether we can creep this up to 25, 26, 27,000 for the home leg. The last one we had here, Doncaster, we went up there and got a good result. They actually beat us here. We went for on penalties. And that was probably the last outrageous night I've had here. It was brilliant. And we turned up in numbers. I can't remember the crowd, but it was up there. And we need something similar. We need 24, 25, 26,000 here, if not a sellout, because it's going to be a cracking night. I hope we get our noses in front, or it's a draw. We bring them back here, and we get that under the lights feeling, which is always special here. I think you get them under the lights with something on it, and it'll be a very good atmosphere.
Absolutely. One thing for sure, it will be a very exciting week coming up. Thank you all for your support. We can feel it, the manager can feel it, the players can certainly feel it as well. And from our experience playing for this football club as well, I promise you, it really does make a difference. Okay then, I'm going to ask you then, prediction.
For the semi-final, just the semi-finals, we will go through, I fancy us. I'm not going to say results either leg, but we will go through over the two legs.
Yeah, I'm going to go for, I don't want to say a comfortable, I think even if we lose there, I think we bring them back here. I can't remember the last big game we've lost there. So I think as long as we're in contact with them, I think we'll win it.
The same, I think that even if we don't get the best result at Wickham, I think if we can bring them back here and there's something on it, and if our nose is in front, then I think it's always going to be us.
Yeah, I agree. I hate to say it, because they were the team that I kind of wanted. We've got them now.
You've said it.
But I've said it now. But I feel as confident as I can be that we'll get through over two legs. Final thing I just wanted to say before we go is it was a certain Keith Peacock's 80th birthday last week. So we just want to say, Keith, legend. Hope you had a good one. We'll hope to see you soon. I know Gav, Tony Cascarino and I try and meet up, and you come along as well for breakfast, but I will see you soon. I mean, Curbs, what do you want to say about Sir Keith Peacock? He's another knighthood, isn't he? Yeah.
Well, every time I think of Keith, calm, because I had Merv who wasn't. so I'd come down at half time at the end of the game and go to both of them, have I seen this right? Bang, 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 bang. And Merv go, yeah. And Keith go, calm down, it ain't that bad, you know what I mean? So I needed someone like that, and Merv needed someone like that, and, you know, because you do need someone just to give you a little bit of advice every now and then and point you in the right direction, because you haven't seen it all. And so he was my calming influence, Keith.
He looked like an inverted winger then back in the day, didn't he?
Well, yeah.
Cutting in with his right foot.
Absolutely. Yeah, genius, because they've only been invented in the last couple of years.
That's it.
So I don't know how he did it.
Football was invented in 1992.
Miles ahead of his time. But yeah, no, I mean, he was my reserve team manager in the early stage of my career. And without his guidance and advice, and at times kick up the backsides, you probably don't go on to have the career that I went on to have. So you don't realise it at the time, how lucky you are to have somebody that's going to take the time out and sort of cajole you into the professional that you need to be to have a career. So I'll forever be grateful for that period. And then it obviously transpired that he became first team coach as well. So I always felt like I had a little arm around the shoulder when I got the punch in the face from above. Yeah.
I did like it when Keith would come to me and go,
he's all right.
Take a couple of days off. Leave us here.
Yeah.
Take a couple of days off. You've done your bit. You need a break, and things like that.
Yeah.
Was always like that. I think experience that I needed when I took over, and I was on my own, if you like, and because without them senior people, you don't realise how lucky you are.
Yeah, again, when I was in the first team, he was a reserve team coach. I felt really close to him, to the point where he was actually helping me with my contract to Chelsea. That was, you know.
And,
Chelsea.
so I've got Keith to blame now.
Found that.
Where's
found
Richard
that out 30
I
years
went
on.
to Benfica to help me out with my contract out
Where's
there
Richard
as well.
Murray? It was Keith.
You can definitely blame Keith
He's just
for that
grassed
one.
him up.
And then I came back to West Ham, he was there again.
We should bar him from coming in like me.
30 years on, the secret is out, but I felt and still feel very close to Keith indeed. So happy birthday, Keith. Hope you had a great one. Okay, that concludes April's show. Then what a brilliant 2025 we have had so far. We've got so much still to look forward to. We know that times have been tough since we last had a date with the playoffs. This is a time to savour, be loud, be proud, and get behind the boys. And, well, there'll be at least 2 more games. There'll be 3 more games. And hopefully, like not that long ago under Lee Bowyer, we can celebrate in the way we did back then. Until then, bye for now.